way. So one of the key things is to understand how we engage the ground. So I can always tell how strong someone is and how successful they're going to be with a push-up by how they engage the ground with their hands. If you go ahead and watch people and they put their hands kind of like this, they're actually going to be pretty weak, all right? Because you want to think about your hands just like your feet when you walk or you stand. If I don't have tension in the hand, or I'm not using my hands, that's going to go up the chain of my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder. So a lot of these, my wrist kind of bothers me when I do push-up things, is because people aren't using their hands. When they're not using the hands, the next joint up is the wrist. So they're feeling some discomfort, right? So when I engage my hands, I want to create almost like an arch in the hand. That's very similar again to like my foot. So when I do that, what you're going to notice is the first thing that changes is my elbow position and my shoulder position. So what happens is that just grabbing the ground. I don't have to talk about packing the shoulder, I don't have to talk about turning the arm. Just by grabbing the ground, this shoulder becomes packed so the crease of my elbows pointing forward. That creates strength. So for a lot of you too that think that people have scapular stability problems, a lot of times it's a ground engagement issue. I'm going to show you pretty quickly. So if I go ahead and relax my hands, again the push-up position, this is both slightly uncomfortable in my wrist and it looks like my shoulders look somewhat unstable. If I simply change just to grabbing the ground actively, look what happened. No stress in the wrist, scapulas change, shoulder positions change. So again, learning how to use the upper body is really key. Now, if using the upper body is important, so is using the lower body. So again, well, a lot of times when we see the hips come up in the push-up, a lot of us will say hips down, or if we see the other way, the hips start to sag, we go hips up. And the hips never seem to get in the right position for our clients. So really we're using the wrong cue. If we're using the appropriate cue, because again, a push-up is just like a standing overhead press, so we want to push in the ground with our feet. All right? When we do that, you're going to feel hamstring glutes slide up. If your hips are sagging or your hips are elevated, your glutes cannot be active, right? So, if you see my hips start to droop, if I push in my feet, that puts me in the right position. I'm tight. But if my hips are up, I can't feel my glutes, and I can't really push in my feet well. So again, if I bring it down, push the feet, engage the ground, I feel nice and strong. So those are 2 points you're going to want to keep emphasizing with your clients as we go through these progressions. Now, a lot of people argue, well, do I start doing push-ups from my knees, from standing? Where do I start my push-ups from? In actuality, what we like to look at is starting to push up. Obviously, we can learn that ground engagement, but holding up the entire body can be really hard for a lot of people. So we actually use bird dogs. A lot of people think of bird dogs only as a core stability drill, but it's a wonderful way to understand how to build shoulder, core, and hip integration. So what we're going to do is place our elephant sandbag right by our knees. So when we set up the position, I'm in my quadruped position, but I'm engaging the ground and pushing through my toes. So I'm already creating that tension. So the reason for the bag so down low is that when I go ahead and lift my arm up, I'm going to pull against the handle, but what you'll see is that crease of my elbow still forward, my lat's tight. So I'm not trying to pull up or out, that disconnects my lat. I want to be here. Then I can slowly extend that back leg. This creates that really stable foundation. This teaches me how to push in the ground, both with my toe and grab the ground, and build core stability at the same time. So I'm actually building that isometric strength that a lot of people don't have. I'm learning how to engage the ground. I'm learning how to build up my core stability. If I go to the other side, again, I like to grab the ground, push with my toes, grab the handle, just take slack out of it, and then slowly bring that leg back. This will also fix a lot of the diving of the hips that people have, because when that lat, core, and glute work together, it really builds up that chain to be strong. You feel so much stronger and more stable in that position. We can accentuate it simply by adding that dragon. So this sort of accomplishes 2 goals at once. Helps people's push-ups and also helps people understand our lateral drag a lot better. So for a lot of people, they can't do the lateral drag well because they're not strong enough. So again, if we set in the right position, if I take the handle, take slack, and I'm in the right position, as I drive in the ground, I slowly pull the bag across my body as I extend my leg. Create that lat tension. Go back, grab the handle. Lat in tight, grabbing the ground, pushing my toes, slowly pushing out. Keeping tension in the handle, not up, but out. that's a great starting point to learn a lot of concepts that will carry over your push-ups and allow you to have far more success.
So here we are, folks. We're at our second jumping off place for this month's metabolic stability. We're at the TRX. We're gonna go into again, planking position is classic terminology used with TRX. They're planking and we're using the TRX regardless of position. So whether they're in push-up position, whether they're in body row position, whatever they may be in, this is a plank. We can see we're tied in, shoulder down to the leg, just like we were in the body saw. Everything is locked in. We can put the push-up into play right here. So, and then what Josh is going to do is he's going to create a fly or leverage position. Now, right? This could be looked at, again, devil's in the details, as simple stuff. Josh has got to hold stability. Those of you that may be familiar with kettlebells, or even dumbbells for that matter, Renegade Row, right? Classic tie-in here. We're destabilizing one of the sides of the front end, one of the four legs of the table. We're destabilizing that X pattern, causing Josh to have to tie in and really intentionally drive through the legs, drive through the upper body, and really stay nice and tight in that aspect. Coming back up. So what we're doing here, we've also expanded the transition or translation of the plank between body saw to here to just holding the plank position, the TRX, to now we're destabilizing. Not only is he destabilizing, having to hold those X patterns in the core plank position, but we're also going to see, where's this arm moving? Now we're starting to creep into the frontal plane, right? There's starting to become some more interplays of all the things that are going on within the body, and that's really important, how we advance the plank, how we transition the plank to movement. Whether you have people that are just starting into your group setting, because most of us are working there, whether they're in holding that planking position, trying to find their place to tie in the pieces in a very stable environment, or whether you quickly on the go transition into that plank with fly or push up with fly with the TRX. Classic, easily to implement into the setting, high values type stuff. That's the essence of what we're trying to give you here. Easy to implement, high value stuff that's going to make a big difference in getting your people to move better, feel better, and get stronger overall.
We're good to go. Well, there's still a little way we can build that incremental progression to your movement. And that is really accentuating that frontal plane instability. So again, we can backtrack a little bit if you find your clients are struggling a little bit, or this can be a progression to some of your clients that are starting to really dial into the drill. Again, where we start them is going to be a determining factor. If we start from the half kneeling position, it's going to be more of a problem-solving drill. If we start adding in the step that I'll do in a moment, that becomes a progression to the movement. So we're changing the force vector. Instead of having the weight go with me, the weight's going to pull out to the side. So it's going to challenge that frontal plane stability. Now, initially, whenever we change something like a force vector, something that's actually pretty significant, we're going to go back to a more stable environment. So we could go tall kneeling and just working on our press outs. But then we could progress to half kneeling. And again, depending upon which leg I have forward, it's going to be a little bit of a different effect. Either way, my goal is the same, to resist rotation. Now, again, that requires me to drive to the ground. Lat stay packed, elbow stay crease up, pull weight back in. I'm driving into the ground, not just pushing the weight out. Now, it is going to be easier, generally, on the same side as the lead leg again. So, if I'm going to use this as actual lunge, I'm going to predominantly do it on the front side load, meaning that the band is going to be the same side as the lead leg. Tension here first. I'm already resisting this lateral motion. This back foot becomes really important because if I don't grab with the ball, my big toe and ball foot, I'm going to feel it's too unstable going off to the side. If I don't create that tension from my hand and my trunk, I'm not going to have the ability to resist the forces that come up. So tension, drive, come back down. Now I could do press out first, come up, or I can make it more challenging, drive. Now, challenging, but also helping me to understand the drive. It's almost like a thruster, a squat and press. I'm driving the weight as I step. And you can see, it's very great deal of work in this back leg to make sure it goes straight back as the weight pulls me off to the side. This becomes metabolic very quickly. So this is a cool thing about restoration. Is it corrective? Is it strength? Is it metabolic? The answer is yes to all of it. It just depends how we use it and we program it. All right, guys, as we showed you in the first two drills, Troy did a great job of sort of explaining how we're trying to take the foundations that are, and the concepts that are taught in the plank and apply them to more dynamic type of activities. So what we're going to do in a moment, Troy's going to actually do an unbalanced loaded kettlebell lunge. Now, this is a couple of different reasons we're doing this. One is most people just automatically go to a double-sided where the weight's even. By having a little uneven distribution, you're going to throw off those X patterns again that the body has when it talk about its kinetic chains. So just having a little disturbance is enough to make some instability. So Troy, when he does it, he'll be not only because of the lunge position he's in, but because of the holding position he's in, he's going to be battling some subtle lateral and transverse forces. So the lunge itself also assists into making this an unstable base drill. So it's quite a lot going on in what outwardly looks like a relatively easy drill. So let's see it in action. Troy's going to clean both bells up and just perform a good lunge. He wants to keep his elbows into his ribs, drive through that front heel, extend that hip fully. So we're looking for that collapse again through the thoracic spine. A lot of people, they don't really have that good core stability, so you'll start to see them start to fold, especially as they get tired. So we're also isometrically looking at his ability to tie in that lat, and there's a great way of using that glute. There's also introducing that idea a little bit more profoundly of the things like the posterior oblique system, the anterior oblique system, where the glute ties in with that lat, and we got the groin tying in with the obliques and all through those fascial systems. Nice job, Troy. So how much of a difference should you create when you hold the bells? Well, obviously if you're a beginner, not so drastic, right? If you're someone a little bit more advanced, you can handle a little bit more different loading. Having that higher position too with the kettlebell allows a ton of that anti-flexion stress to be produced upon the lift. Combining instability of body position along with the load position makes for a killer exercise.